This is Patrick Lane coming to you, obviously working from my home office today. We're under the current coronavirus stay-at-home order here in California, where I live. And wanted to take a moment, though, to share something with you that whether you're going through this still or this is in the future, it's something that can create a lot of hope and a lot of optimism for you. It's a way to have a light at the end of the tunnel. I was asked to put this video together by several of our clients who have been using our product, the Money Max account, and have wanted to share it with their kids or friends or a neighbor, and wanted to create this video as a tool for them or for you to benefit from. I'm going to share my screen here real quick and give you a short overview of the program and how it works. As I said, the product is called the Money Max account, and it is considered the #1 debt elimination tool in America. In fact, it's won multiple awards, probably the most significant being the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. If you know anything about business, the Ernst & Young Award is kind of like the Academy Award in business. Okay, it's a very in-depth process to be approved. They don't just look at your product and think that's a neat product. They actually look at the company under a microscope. Okay, they look at their financials. They interview employees and customers and banking relationships and so forth and so on. The company, United Financial Freedom, received this award back in 2007. And the next year, they were actually offered $50 million for 20% of their company by one of the members of that board. It was a judge from Salt Lake City who saw what they were doing, saw the growth that they've seen, the product, the quality, everything that went into it, and literally offered to purchase 20% of their company. Now they declined that offer. It's now 12 years later, and the company is projecting that the valuation of the company will be over $2 billion in the next 3 to 5 years. Well, why is that? Why did they receive this award, and why are they growing as quickly as they are? Why is the company projecting an estimated value so high? And what can it mean to you? Well, the company was founded because there's a major problem in America, and that problem is consumer debt. Okay, we all know that there are trillions of dollars of debt. Most of us are under debt. We have a mortgage, perhaps, we have car payments, student loans, credit cards, etc. And it is a rampant problem. As we're going through the coronavirus epidemic currently, and we all deal with cancer and other things like that would be considered epidemics, debt is very much an epidemic that touches almost all of us. In fact, it's kind of a staggering statistic that 96 out of 100 people who reach the age of 65 are either dead or dead broke. They are making literally less than $45,000 per year. And very few, 4 out of 100, in fact, will enter retirement earning greater than that, greater than $45,000 a year. So what do we do about it? I mean, most of us feel like if we're in debt, we're in a hole. And how do we get out of it? Now, the banks know things about money and about finance and about interest that they will never share with us because it doesn't benefit them. Okay, there's a reason they have the biggest buildings in town, and it's private, it's privileged information, if you will. Okay, when the Money Max account was developed, it incorporated several of these principles, these algorithms, these secrets, if you will, from the banking industry into a software program that is essentially a budget on steroids. It's probably the best description I've heard. There's been a lot of press about it. There's been a lot written up about it. One of my favorite videos, if you haven't seen it, is the story of the two founders, Skylar Whitman and John Waschenko, and they tell about why they started United Financial Freedom, why they developed this product, the Money Max account. It's kind of ironic because originally they were in the mortgage business. They owned one of the fastest growing companies in Utah back in the 90s, a very successful mortgage company. And yet they struggled with the fact they felt morally responsible for how many customers repeatedly went into debt with them. In fact, they'd come back year after year after year and refinance their homes and use up, whatever equity they had, and just went more and more into debt. And they felt like there's got to be a way to help. There's got to be a solution. We can operate a successful mortgage company, but is there a solution to help our customers get out of debt more quickly? They went out and did their research. They looked all over the world. They found that in Australia, for example, people pay their houses off much faster than 30 years. Same goes in Europe and Great Britain. Nobody pays for their homes for as long as we do here in America. They started learning the principles that were used there that helped, and they put it into a software called the Money Max account. They beta tested it back in 2005 and 2006, and were surprised to see that even with this program that could accelerate payoff, give you focus and tools and help to get out of debt more quickly, they actually were exceeding their projections by 20%. They got pretty excited about this because they knew they could help a lot of people. Since that time, they've invested close to $20 million in development. They've helped over 70,000 customers, eliminated over $2 billion in debt, as I said. In fact, the product comes with a lifetime 100% money-back guarantee, which no customer has ever cashed in on, which is pretty impressive to say the least. Now, the software itself, as I said, I refer to it as a budget on steroids. You incorporate your income into it, your expenses, your debt, and then these algorithms go to work with 60 million lines of code behind them, telling you the fastest way to be debt-free. It literally accelerates your payoff by telling you and giving you indicators of what to do when and how and what is the fastest route to total debt freedom. They refer to the program as a GPS for your finances, and it's a great description of it because a GPS tells you where you're going. It also tells you an ETA. It tells you when you'll get there. The Money Max account does exactly that. It shows how many years you have to pay off, how much interest you have remaining. It tells you how much interest you can save by following their indicators and how much you've paid so far. You can do hypotheticals with the software, which is one of my favorite things because you can plug in hypothetical purchases or decisions or changes that you're considering making. For example, you might be considering taking on a part-time job. You can type in the expenses that would go with that, the income you're expecting, and see how it affects your overall plan. You might find that it's really not going to make a difference. It's going to take you a lot more time, but the expenses are going to offset the income, and it's just not going to be a good move. You're going to be away from home more without making a big difference in your budget. You might be looking at purchasing a new vehicle, for example, and when you plug the numbers in, hypothetically, you find that it really isn't a wise move. Now, you may decide you still want to buy that car because it's emotional and it's something you've been saving for or whatever. But you may also decide that, it would be wiser for us to buy a used car or maybe not buy a car at all right now. When you have the Money Max account, you are now able to make these decisions based on fact. Okay, they're based on data. It's not just conjecture. You're not just guessing. That's why they refer to it as 2020 financial foresight. We all know what hindsight is. We learn from our mistakes. But when we have foresight, we're making decisions. And using the Money Max account, we're making decisions with actual data. Okay, we're making decisions based on fact. What it does for many of us is it guides us and helps us have a plan, just like that GPS example, have a plan for how to be debt free. But I also believe it helps us avoid snap decisions and unwise financial decisions. It keeps us from making impulse purchases and things like that. We find that it raises credit scores for most of our customers. But the most exciting thing is it helps them be out of debt in a fraction of the time. Our average customer, by using the Money Max account, is able to eliminate all of their debt in a third the time. I mean, imagine having all of your debts lined out, following the indicators from this program, and being able to pay off a 30-year mortgage, for example, in 5 to 7 years. We see countless examples of customers who are and have done this in their own lives. The program, as I said, tells you what to do and when. It takes a little bit of time to set it up initially. You get free support from the home office, phone calls, webinar, whatever you need to set it up. But once it's set up, and you don't have to be highly technical, you don't have to be computer savvy, you just follow their guide, you set up the budget, and then it takes about 15 or 20 minutes once a month, at the beginning of the month, to incorporate anything that's changed. Maybe you got a raise at work, maybe you added a new debt, maybe you're taking on a new job. If something is changing in your budget, you need to input that so the budget knows how to allocate things and knows what to use and where to go. With 60 million lines of code operating behind the scenes, it is constantly looking for the fastest route to total debt freedom for you. You're not guessing, you're not trying to figure out, you're not using a snowball program or anything like that. You are being guided and directed by principles, measures, and indicators that the banking industry would rather you didn't know, but now with the Money Max account you do. That GPS can make a big difference. It does recalculate as you move along. It gives you clear direction. It tracks your success. It's very motivating. If you want to be debt-free, there's nothing like it. You're not giving up your account numbers. You're not giving over control of your bank accounts. You're not doing anything like that. It's a budget that you use. You plug in your own numbers and you use it on a daily basis. If you can spend about 15 minutes a month on your finances, you can use this budget, and it can make a massive, massive difference in your life. We all want to find that ladder that can dig us out of the hole we're in, and the Money Max account is exactly that. A lot of testimonials out there. If you haven't seen them, we encourage you to get back with the person who shared this presentation with you. Watch the testimonials. They're real people over the last 15 years who have and are eliminating their debt, and you could be one of them. You could try to do this on your own. Okay, now it's a legitimate approach to retiring debt. Maybe in this example, this couple paid $200 extra per month to retire their debt, and it will work. It does help you accelerate your debt payoff. But the problem is one, you're having to pay extra each month above and beyond your normal budget, and two, you're putting it into maybe your mortgage or your line of credit or your credit cards. You really don't know which is the fastest and best path to follow. We did a comparison of this couple, for example, that was paying $200 per month and retired almost $53,000 in debt. We compared that with the same couple using the Money Max account without adding to their budget, and they were able to retire $140,000 in savings in a fraction of the time. How that works, it's difficult to explain. But if you'd like to learn more, please reach out to us. We can answer your questions. We can complete a free report for you, a free analysis of your debt load, and give you an exact payoff date to the day, to the penny, and help you know too how fast you could be debt free. These are the types of examples that we see. Someone with 30 years left on their mortgage, they were able to retire 25.3 years of that. Literally, they're pacing to have a payoff of 4.6 years. 13.4 years. This couple was a little bit further ahead, but they're going to retire their debt in 2.1 years. Incredible, I know. Sounds too good to be true. I'm the first to admit that, but it is absolutely working. It has for 15 years, and it's helped thousands and thousands of people accomplish these types of savings. This customer had over 30 years of debt, 35.8 years. With the Money Max account, they're on track to be debt-free in 11.8 years. This one had even more. They had 2 mortgages, student loan debt, credit cards, some medical debt. They were estimating 43 years to be debt-free, and they were 60 years old. Literally, they wouldn't be debt-free if they continue to pay what they are until they're over 100 years old. With the Money Max account, they'll be debt-free in 9.5 years. As long as they follow their indicators, as long as they do what the budget tells them to do, when it tells them to do it, they can be debt-free in less than a decade. This is the type of changes and benefits that the Money Max account can provide to you. What we can do for you specifically will vary from the next person. The best way to do that, again, is to get back to whoever shared this video with you. Let us do our free analysis for you. We can give you an exact quote to the penny of how much interest it can save you and how quickly you can be debt-free. We look forward to speaking with you. Hopefully this answers some of the questions, maybe created a few. That's why we're here. We're here to help. We're very passionate about this. This is a really neat space to work in because we are helping people, maybe for the first time in their entire lives, feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know I keep saying that, but especially right now, we're going through a hard time, and a lot of people are struggling, and maybe they've been furloughed, maybe they're making less at work, maybe their business is on hard times. We don't know how long this is going to last. Hopefully it's past by the time you're watching this video, but it's always hard to keep a business going, to keep a family, a budget, going. It's hard to stay ahead of the bill collector. It's hard to get out of debt. So the reason that programs like Dave Ramsey and others are so popular, people want to be debt-free. It's one of the most common things most of us think about as we're falling asleep at night. Is how do I pay off my debt? Well, we have the solution for that. We'd love to share it with you. If we can be of assistance, please let me know. We're here to help. I wish the very best. Stay safe out there. If we can do anything to help, we're here. If we can answer any questions for you, we'd be happy to. I wish the very best, and until next time, take care. I'll talk to you later.